The following podcast may contain adult language and an abundance of salt, so get ready to commit soboku, because we're talking samurai movies.
Did you just tell everyone to kill themselves?
Yup, I sure did. Guys, you're going to want to end it after we get done talking about these. Welcome and thank you for joining us on the Salty Nerd Podcast. I am the Salty Nerd, and today we're going to be talking about movies that have the word samurai in the title.
AKA samurai movies.
And this was all Tom's idea.
Loosely based on samurai movies.
Welcome, Tom.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for joining us.
Hey, thanks for making me a part of the team.
Yeah.
My contributions feel loved.
This is going to be...
what? The 420 movies were his idea too.
Yeah.
We got to stop letting Tom...
Vader is very happy that he's missing these weeks.
I know. I don't know why we gave so much control over the new guy.
I don't know. We got to stop. It's because I'm
You
like...
guys never let me choose the movies. You're like, we're going to let you choose, Jude. Oh, you know what? Tom had an idea.
low-key sexist.
Not even low key.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, oh, Jude wants to watch these movies.
All the boys are high-fiving each other. Like, shut up, Jude. Get the
Pat me on the
coffee.
head.
Good job, nerd.
Just go make some coffee,
Yeah.
Jude.
Yeah, we're out of coffee, nerd.
Do you have any more alcohol? I'm also
a
joined
sandwich.
by our ambassador of estrogen and loved by all, Jude.
Hi.
Welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you for having me. Thanks for letting me still come, you guys.
Yeah. And last but not least, producer of the show, Matthew Kadish.
Last.
Samurai in the title. Like, these are genuine samurai movies.
No, they are
Genuine.
not.
I would argue.
How
yeah.
dare you?
There's a Samurai Suzuki and Samurai Cop.
There is a Samurai Suzuki and Samurai Cop.
Guys, today we're going to talk about The Last Samurai, starring Tom Cruise. We're going to talk about Samurai Cop. I have no idea who's in that movie. And Six String Samurai. Before we get into it, we're going to take a quick break, listen to some sponsors. Welcome back, everybody. Hey, if you want to support the podcast and help us pick better movies, go to saltynerdclub.com. There you can become a Patreon member, and you can yell at us and say, hey, don't review that movie. Review this one instead. We get awesome podcasts, exclusive stuff, blooper reels that are a ton of fun, things that we can't put in the show because they'll either get like flagged and tagged and told that we're terrible people. It's all in there. You can join our $3 tier. It's the base level tier. And you can jump in and have a ton of fun with our other patrons. Thank you guys all for your support. We really appreciate it. It helps us make better and better content for you. All right, let's get into this. The first one we're going to talk about is Tom Cruise's movie, The Last Samurai. Jude, take it away.
So I just want to say, this is the first time I've ever seen this movie.
Oh, yay.
Oh, wow.
That's
and
awesome.
I loved it.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
so good.
2003, The Last Samurai, rated R with a runtime of 2 hours, 34 minutes. Had a budget of $140 million. What do you gentlemen think it brought into the box
I think it
office?
doubled. 300 million.
We're talking worldwide or domestic?
Worldwide.
Ooh, 300 million.
$454 million.
There you go.
Nice.
It was big in Japan.
Yeah. Oh, was it?
Oh, they went nuts.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Cool.
it actually outgrossed
Yeah.
in Japan what it made in the States.
Good.
I was visiting. I'm part Japanese. I was visiting relatives, and it wasn't long after this. And the talk and the buzz was still very real.
Nice.
Yeah, very much.
Very cool.
All right, here's the synopsis. Picture it, Japan, 1876. Tom Cruise is a Civil War veteran who will kill anyone for any motherfucker who pays him. He gets hired by Americans who are duping the Emperor of Japan into going along with the plan to train the peasants to fight against the samurai with firearms in order to repress a rebellion. The samurai are devoted to the traditional ways and reject the westernization of Japan. During the first fight against the samurai, the Imperial Army is unprepared and Tom Cruise gets taken hostage by the samurai leader Katsumoto, Ken Wantanabi, who spares his life for his bravery in battle. He believes there must be a purpose for him, and after he's nursed to health by the widow of the samurai Tom Cruise killed, he learns to respect and love the old Japanese way. Meanwhile, his old army buddies declare war on the samurai, and he must choose to honor his loyalty to one side and meet his new enemy on the battlefield.
I freaking love this movie.
Freaking love this movie.
Love this. It's so good. Everything about it
really
is so good.
good.
Yeah, it's got everything.
I don't remember the first time I've seen it, but it's one of those movies that's on my like recurring watch list. Like every year, at least once a year, I have to watch this movie.
I don't know why I've never seen this movie before. I love Tom Cruise and I love samurai movies.
Yeah, this is really good, and I love like one of the best things about it is how. I mean, I don't quote me on this. I hope nobody's going to fact check me on this, but I feel like this movie is really accurate to like actual historical events.
Mostly true.
Mostly true. Like obviously
true.
all movies have that little
Yeah.
grain of salt in it that lets them take some, artistic liberties with history. But on a whole, like I'm fascinated by this time period in Japanese history.
So this film, it was an original screenplay, and it was based on the stories of a real historical figure named Jules Burnett, who was a French army captain who fought alongside Inamoto Takeki.
No,
Racist.
we're gonna
Yeah,
butcher all these names.
in this thing called the Boshin War, and
Motion.
yeah, and basically there was another historical figure named Frederick Townsend Ward, who was an American mercenary who helped westernize the King Army by forming the Ever Victorious Army, I guess was what they were called. And basically the writer of this movie just kind of took all these different kind of historical things and
Concepts,
mismatched them into a fictional tale.
Okay.
It works.
Yeah, it really does work. And I mean, I'm a big fan of Dances with Wolves. This has a lot of those same vibes to it.
It's the same story.
It's a little different though, because it's not quite the same
No, it's the same story.
plot. Yeah, I guess it kind of is.
It's
huh?
almost exactly the same story.
Okay, so here's the thing though, because I hate Avatar. Because
Sure.
they just
Same story.
because it's the same exact
Yeah,
story as
same
Dances with the
story.
Wolves, just done in space.
Yeah.
But this movie, for whatever reason, I'm just like, oh, that totally works.
Oh, works.
It's well worth.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Yeah.
Honor.
Did you know that
Swords.
Tom Cruise spent 2 years learning Japanese so he could get his pronunciation right?
Oh, that
I
sounds.
love
and
that.
and
That
learn
sounds
and
very
He's
Tom
so
Cruise.
committed to every role.
and learning how to sword fight. So
Yeah,
like he
that's
actually
awesome.
learned how to sword fight and speak Japanese for this movie.
He had to put on like 30 pounds of muscle just to move in the armor and work the swords.
That's
yeah,
awesome.
and he did all of his own stunts in this movie.
He always
He
does.
always does.
And
Yeah.
in fact, he almost got killed on this movie.
He almost gets killed in every movie.
I saw him hang outside of an airplane.
On purpose.
He only travels on the outside of
Yeah.
shit now.
Isn't he going to space for his next movie?
Probably.
I feel like he is.
Like
Did
he's
you guys?
actually going to space?
Did you guys know for the Mission Impossible movie, he had to learn how to hold his breath for like over 6 minutes for
Yes.
that one scene?
Yes.
What?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he really did that.
He really did it. It was all one take, over 6 minutes. He was
I
underwater.
swear to God, that guy's magic.
He is amazing.
He
It's
is incredible.
75 years old and just doing it all.
And didn't he learn how to fly a fighter jet for the new
Yes.
Top Gun
Yes.
movie?
Yes.
Dude,
Yes.
it's crazy.
Yes.
He's crazy.
The commitment this guy
He
has
flies, Yeah.
to
I
making
mean,
movies.
I don't think I'd want to date him or anything, but I think he's cool.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'd go
You
to
touch it,
dinner-
not
yeah.
suck it, Jude.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'll touch it. Sure.
I mean,
Sure.
I'd touch
He
it. It's Tom Cruise.
He
That's a good
seems
story.
like a nice guy.
That's
Yeah.
a good story.
Yeah.
Give Tom
He's
Cruise
like
a handy one
level
time.
12 Thetan over there.
Yeah, for real.
I don't want to wake up next to him.
No.
Is what I'm
He'd
saying.
be already awake, just staring.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. He'd be
He's
like,
just doing push-ups.
he'd be like, why haven't you worked out yet? I just woke up.
I can imagine like being in a relationship with Tom Cruise would probably be exhausting.
Yeah.
He's just
Oh,
so
yeah.
intense with
Oh,
everything.
yeah. He's
Oh,
way
yeah.
too intense.
Who do you think works harder, Tom Cruise or Dwayne Johnson?
Tom
they're,
Cruise.
They're different levels because I don't think Tom Cruise drinks or even eats human food. But
Good point.
The Rock will like chug tequila
Yeah.
and then he'll like throw an axe with Jason Momoa.
Yeah.
You know, I
Yeah.
think The Rock would be cooler to hang out with.
Yeah,
Oh, for sure.
I feel like they give The Rock anything he wants, but Tom Cruise works for it.
Mm.
Like he is 4'3" and he can run really fast, and he wants you to know that.
He wants you to know he can run.
and he
Does,
also does not care. He
does-
he just do anything.
does he run in this movie?
Yes,
At the end, the battle charge?
there's a lot of running.
Okay, but it's not the same like Tom Cruise running. It's
Uh,
different. This was before he started that trend.
You know what I think is adorable is every time Tom Cruise tries to yell.
His
It's
battle
like-
cries are a little
I know.
soft.
It's like a little mouse, but he's very serious.
Come on, guys.
Okay. What else do you guys want to talk about? Do you have any?
I thought that it's interesting that here I'm going to butcher this name, Hiroyuki Sanada.
Good job.
So like he was in a lot of movies that we watched this week.
Oh, yeah.
So like he was Scorpion in Mortal Kombat,
Mhm.
but he's also typecast as like a samurai in pretty much everything he does.
Yes.
He was he was in Westworld as a samurai.
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
And you know,
The Wolverine.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he was too, huh?
Yeah. So like he's a samurai in everything.
Well, I mean, you find your niche and
Play to your strengths,
Yeah.
bro. I mean, he's a badass in every single one of those
he's
movies.
got moves.
Oh, yeah.
Like the guy is sick.
yeah.
But one of the things I love most about this movie, so like this is the first time I was exposed to Ken Watanabe. And before this movie came out, like he was big in Japan, but he learned English just so he could do this movie.
Oh wow.
And he had just recovered from leukemia.
What?
And, yeah,
Whoa.
yeah, yes.
Interesting.
So like he had gotten leukemia and he beat it. And Tom Cruise
With a sword.
Yeah. Tom Cruise was such a fan of his work that he decided to bring him into this movie and really kind of introduce him to Hollywood because he was like, this guy's awesome. He needs to, get more work. And so Ken Watanabe put on like 30 pounds of muscle to like portray this after he had
Everybody
cancer.
got jacked for this movie.
Oh, it's awesome, dude.
But he was just so badass.
It
in
makes
this
me
movie.
like
I
it
loved
even more. This movie's so great.
It's amazing.
It's so good.
One of my favorite character arcs in this, you got Tom Cruise's character who's very much down and out, depressed. He's got PTSD.
Yeah.
And they mention Colonel
Which wasn't
Custer.
a thing then.
No, they didn't know what it was,
No.
but he was just burying himself in alcohol.
Yes.
And they mention Colonel Custer a lot in this movie.
Yeah, and William Atherton's at the beginning. This man has no dick.
Yes.
And I've actually been recently reading a book about Colonel Custer called what is that? I can't remember what the book is. I'll find out in a second when you guys are talking, but it's pretty much across the board back then due to journal entries and like firsthand experience that nobody liked Colonel Custer. He was a dick. He was unprepared for war. He took everything and like he was like a very piggish man.
He was the John Walker of the.
He was just a douchebag. He was just a douchebag to put it in modern terms. And it was
Which
funny.
also wasn't a thing then.
It wasn't a thing.
He
It
was just a boss.
There was no douchebags in 1890.
It was
Weird,
very
I know.
interesting. It was very interesting to see Tom Cruise's character, and when he met with what's the actor's name again? I don't want to mess it up. Your favorite guy,
Oh, Ken Watanabe.
Ken Wantanabe.
Oh.
When they meet his character, and he's like, "I like this Colonel Custer. He took 200 men up against 2,000 natives."
Tom Cruise is like, you don't know what you're fucking
You
talking
don't
about.
know what you're talking about, bro.
Guy's an asshole.
Yeah, I kind of like that aspect of it, and I also like how like translation of historical events can get kind of skewed a little bit depending on the interpretation. And then like Tom Cruise mentions like the 300 Spartans. Like there's that it just, I don't know, man. I love that aspect to it. I love the historical nods to different things that happened in that time period. I'm into it. The one thing that Tom Cruise did when he got captured and he killed that dude with the spear, right? And that ends up being the husband to the woman who's taking care of him. I was like, that whole storyline with her and him and how they like mended it and got over their animosity towards each other. It was just very like, I was so fascinated. It was amazing. I couldn't stay away from it. I was just like, what's going to happen with the chick? What's going to happen with the wife? Is she going to be mad? Is she going to try to kill him? Is she going to poison him?
She tried to kill herself.
Bad Saki.
Yeah, she tried to kill herself. Ken Watanabe wouldn't let her do it.
Yeah.
She said, I want to die. I'm going to kill myself. And he goes, you will not.
Yeah.
You will look after this man.
Oh man, that whole storyline just like
Fucking patriarchy. She can't even kill herself.
This is Japan we're talking about.
Japan in the 1890s,
Yeah.
Jude.
Yeah. It was a patriarchy. Yeah.
All right. Well, is there any like super favorite storylines in this movie that you guys love? What's your like one thing that you really latch on
What
to?
I love about this is how believable it is that you can just fully invest in it. There's nothing that's like, this is all like 1876, all right. Everything's believable. There's nothing like the wardrobe is true to the time. The way that they talk to each other, true to the time. And then like they're the way that they even like talk about other things that happened that people in that time would be talking about. Oh God, I love it so much.
And what was interesting watching Jude watch this movie is that when characters started dying, like she had legitimate reactions to like, oh my God, I can't believe that guy died, you know?
Yeah.
And like at the end when everyone was dying,
Oh, the end is brutal.
she was
you weep?
beside herself.
I did not weep, but
Oh,
I
okay.
went a bunch of times.
Dude, when they pull out the machine guns, it's just
Oh
I'm
my
like,
God,
oh.
brutal. They
What
have
a-
like a Tommy gun on
I
a
know.
battlefield.
What a freaking way to like
Okay.
introduce the concept of modern versus, in the past. It's just,
So
it's rough.
the movie takes place post Civil War, which
Mhm.
is a very interesting time just in the world in general. So the world is changing,
Mhm.
and you're literally watching it in this movie. Like the old ways are literally being destroyed for the new, and it's a global theme. So I've always really liked this time period. It's like that everything's getting industrialized, everything's moving forward, and F the past.
And a lot of martial arts movies in particular, they point to the gun as the death of the practice of martial arts
and honor.
Yeah, because it used to be like, you had to train to be a warrior. And then all of a sudden now you have the power to kill like in a gun, and anyone can do that. And, I think Fist of Legends, there was a line in there where, someone had a gun, and a martial artist was like, forget the gun. What about my fists? And, then he gets shot dead or something like that. I'm probably misremembering it, but that was like kind of the theme of these martial arts movies, where it's like all the old masters, now all their abilities were, just worthless, because now anyone could get a gun and kill.
A 7-year-old can kill a grand master of any martial art with a gun.
It's sad. And they bring that up in this too. When they were going up in that final battle, they're like, we have to take their advantage away. Like, let's take their advantage of the gun away. It's fascinating, man. I love this movie. If I was ever going to be kidnapped and captured by a culture, it'd be the Japanese. I think, unless they killed me, which, I mean, I guess dying by a katana wouldn't be that bad, but
they're going to make you do it yourself. Though.
Yeah, that'd be weird.
Well, it depends how much honor you had. They might chop your head off for you.
I mean, it'd be quick though, at least. They got really sharp blades. I'm okay with that. All I'm saying is, like, the culture of the Japanese is so fascinating to me, and watching Tom Cruise's character, like, heal his wounds of PTSD, and like he gets over his alcoholism.
Do you remember the ninja attack where Ken Wantanabe and Tom Cruise are dual wielding swords, fighting back to back?
It's so awesome.
That was so badass.
It's so cool, man.
It was awesome. So Edward Zwick was the director of this movie, and he was an Academy Award winning director for Glory. He also did Legends of the Fall, Blood Diamond, Courage Under Fire. I think his most recent one was Jack Reacher, Never Go Back, which he also wrote. But he was just coming off The Siege when he did this movie. And that was the Bruce Willis, Denzel Washington movie about, the military lockdown in New York. But this was based off of a script from John Logan. And if you don't know who John Logan is, he wrote Gladiator. He also wrote Any Given Sunday, Star Trek Nemesis, The Aviator, Rango, Hugo, the Martin Scorsese movie, the James Bond movies, Skyfall and Spectre, but he also wrote Alien Covenant, and he was also the head writer and executive producer of Penny Dreadful and the sequel Penny Dreadful City of Angels.
There's a lot of clout.
Coming off a streak of successes.
Yeah, no kidding. But both those guys, a lot of big names in there. Yeah, that's a lot of good stuff.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and Tom Cruise, he was a producer on this movie.
He's been in some things.
And well, I mean, Tom Cruise, he kind of puts together the best of the best to work with.
Best.
Yeah.
Right.
And what's funny is, because Japan is so overdeveloped, they had to shoot all the Japanese countryside in New Zealand. So most of this movie takes place in New Zealand, where they basically flew in like hundreds of Japanese extras to New Zealand in order to recreate the Japanese countryside, because you couldn't get a shot anywhere in Japan without buildings in the background.
Oh, that kind of makes me sad.
It is kind of like that, though.
Like the whole moral of this movie about like honoring the past, it just didn't work.
Where'd they get all the cherry blossoms?
I think
computer CGI.
I think they may have just imported them or something.
You're ruining this movie, Kadish.
That kind of does take a little bit down for me, like that it wasn't actually filmed in Japan, because I mean it's beautiful. The cinematography is amazing in this movie, and like I said, like being in Japan, if I was to be captured by somebody, it would be freaking awesome to be in the Japan, countryside somewhere.
They teach you to use a sword.
Dude, yeah.
You get to play with kids, and you get like a weird old man to follow you everywhere you go.
Sushi every day.
Oh.
Sake. All you have to do is sake.
We're drinking sake right now, and I have to say, it says the finest sake. This is true. This stuff is like
that one.
Amazing.
Really
that
good.
one is really good.
My gosh.
We drink
it's
a
so
lot
good.
Of
it's so
not
smooth.
Expensive either.
That's
so
awesome.
This is the only time Ken Watanabe's gotten nominated for an Oscar.
What?
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, it was from this movie, and man, like every time he's on screen, like he just fucking steals the scene.
He has a good presence.
Oh,
yeah, he's very stately. Like you believe this guy.
Yeah, you believe he's the badass.
He's
leader.
the lead samurai.
It kind of makes me wish that he was Ra's al Ghul for longer in the Batman movies.
For real, right?
Yeah.
Stupid Nolan.
Whitewashed
doesn't know how to make a movie.
Who's the discount Bob Saget in this movie?
Tony
Oh,
Goldwyn.
yeah,
Yeah.
he's the bad guy in Ghost with Patrick Swayze.
Oh, okay, cool. I just didn't know what his actor's name was. Every time
he's
I
been in
look
other
at him, I'm
things.
like, that guy looks like a skinny Bob Saget.
Discount Bob Saget?
He looks like him, dude.
I
It's
think
weird.
he's a bad guy in literally everything.
He
he's
plays a
ever
great
done.
bad guy.
Yeah, he's a good bad guy.
Okay, so let's do final thoughts and favorite moments. Tom, what do you got for us, buddy?
This is arguably my favorite movie of all time. I could sit here with you guys and just chat about it for 3 hours.
Yeah.
And I've watched it 100 times, and I've forced people to watch it 100 times. It's just really good. I have cultural heritage in this, and so I get to watch samurais and the architecture, and it's just the whole thing's fun for me. But if I have to pick a favorite thing, yeah, it's the ninja assassination scene where they're doing the play and people are dying and they're cutting through walls. Very cool, very artistic. The movie is great. I'm gonna give it 10 out of 5.
Wow. Nice.
Right.
Breaking the rules.
Yeah.
I dig it. Jude, how about you?
First watch for me, I loved every minute of it. There wasn't anything that I found like was boring or that I didn't understand. Like I was just into it. And I know I'm a little loosey-goosey with my 5s, but this is a 5 out of 5 for me. This is a great, great movie.
Favorite moment, did you say?
Oh, I don't know. Just start to finish, I was so into it. And like every time somebody died, I was just like so invested in who they were as a person that it really hurt. I guess I like his relationship with the kid.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Kadish, how about you, buddy?
Yeah, I wouldn't give this a 5 out of 5. I mean, like it's definitely a 4-star movie for me.
What is a 5 out of 5?
I'm kind of picky about my 5 out of 5s, but
Will we hear a 5 out of 5 from you later on in the show?
Oh God,
No.
I swear.
So like basically this is a very good movie. And Ken Watanabe, his American debut, learned English for this, and I think he got stomach cancer in 2016. So he's fighting cancer again.
Jeez.
But like, just to see him bounce back from his initial like leukemia to make this movie and be so good in
He's
it.
such a badass.
He really is. And I feel like this movie is really kind of like the template for samurai movies. Because we watched 47 Ronin, which also had Hiroyuki Sanada in it, along with Keanu Reeves. And we talked about that movie. And I feel like this movie did the characterizations right, where you got to know the samurai, you got to invest in them, and then when they died, you actually felt something, emotional attached to that death, and you understood the tragedy of what they were facing. Whereas in something like 47 Ronin, that just was non-existent.
I am a samurai.
I am a samurai.
That 47 Row was a glorified video game. That movie is rough.
I had a ton of fun with it though.
Oh,
It's fun.
Yeah, it's fun.
It's not good.
Yeah, but this is a great example of how you can take multiple characters, especially non-English speaking characters, give them personality.
Yeah.
Like Tom Cruise's bodyguard, the old guy who just follows him around the entire time that you talked about.
When he dies, it is brutal. Like
And
it tears you up.
I also love when he's like training. He's trying to learn the sword, and they're all betting on him.
Oh,
yeah.
That's great.
That is a great scene.
And then they're all like, "Oh, it's a draw." And it was like this big moment. Yeah, it was really cool.
And Hiryoko's character Ujio, he gets shot, and then he like gets back up, gets on his horse, and goes with a charge, and gets shot like 5 different times
my God.
before he dies.
It was so. I think he had a bullet in his cheek at one point. He's still fighting.
So badass.
Yeah, like little things like that make this movie so good, because all the characters, like there's not a single character in this movie that like you don't know what he's about, like the weak emperor.
Sure.
And the final scene where like Tom Cruise presents the sword to the emperor, and he says like, I will take my life if you command it. And basically he's become a samurai by that point.
The last samurai, some would say.
And like the whole, I think he says early in the movie that he learned that the word samurai means to serve.
Mm-hmm.
And, the whole movie really communicates the philosophy behind being a samurai like really well. So, you know, we watch so much bad stuff on this show that doesn't bother to set anything up or establish anything, and just assumes like you know stuff, and it's just an excuse for bad writing. This movie's very well written. It's very well acted. It's very well directed. It's just a great movie, and it's very solid. So I really enjoy it.
Right on. Okay, so for me, we're actually watching it right now. One of my favorite scenes is that first charge against the samurais when they're coming out of the mist and all you see is the helmets with the big horns, and you're like, oh, that's why they wear that shit, because it's scary as hell. You're like, why do they wear these funky helmets with these giant horns? Oh.
Like, oh, I peed a
They
little
look
too.
like demons.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, I get it now.
Well, that's the faceplate, everything.
Yeah, everything. Yeah, the whole deal. So that was one of my favorite scenes as far as like the cinematography and just the buildup of suspense when you have these like this army that's not prepared. They're going up against these.
What about that scene where Tom Cruise is like shooting at the guy who's learning how to use
Oh
the
yeah,
rifle?
and he's like, fire, hit me, shoot me, shoot me, and he
Yeah.
just can't do it. And he's like, they're not ready.
Yeah,
and then the
he's
dumbass-
like, he's like, we're going up against an enemy that spent 1,000 years studying how to fight.
Yeah,
and you've given me 2 weeks with these guys.
yeah. That was a great moment too.
And Billy Connolly goes out like a not like a boss, but like
Oh
a
yeah,
bitch.
they killed him early.
Oh, in that first charge, yeah,
Uh-huh.
he gets stabbed with a spear, and then they kill him while he's on the ground.
Yeah, I kind of wish he'd have done the Boondock Saints prayer as he got stabbed
Or pulled out multiple pistols.
The moment you said Billy Connolly, I'm like trying to remember the prayer. Like,
It's the dude
It's
from-
in there. It's in there. I
Yeah.
know the prayer. I've seen that movie 1,000 stupid times.
Okay, so my other favorite moment, which is kind of it's not something that I think most people would look at as being really cool, but because I'm reading this book about the Civil War and about, you know, the going into the West during the early years of the U.S. In the book that I'm listening to, there's personal accounts of what it feels like to get scalped by a Native American.
God.
People who survived and then went on to write about it later. There's like, you can listen to audio of people reading their journal entries.
That was the worst part of this movie, was just hearing him describe
And
it.
that's-
we didn't
yeah.
even see it.
It
they
was
talked
so
about
amazing
it.
when they talk about it, and when Tom Cruise and that guy's like, I can't imagine what it must feel like to be, you know, that photographer guy, and Tom Cruise just grabs his scalp. He's like, what does it feel like for somebody to just grab a fistful of your hair and take a dull blade and scrape it against your skull? I'm like, that's exactly what it feels like. It was like, because I'm reading this book like right now and I'm listening to it, I'm hearing firsthand accounts, and then to see it in this movie, it just, I don't know, it just hit me a different way. I was like, oh dude, that's freaking, whew. We did some messed up things to people.
The only thing that
Oh,
took me
sure.
out of it for a second was the photographer guy, because he's a bad guy in Harry Potter, and I was just like,
Oh.
he's Peter Pettigrew.
I thought you meant his acting was a little goofy, because he kind of does come off as like a cartoon character. in
Oh
this
no,
movie.
his acting was fine,
He's
and
very English.
Yeah.
eventually I was on board with the story, because it was, I mean, it's so good.
Yeah.
But like when I first saw him, I was like, oh, don't trust him. It's Peter.
All right.
And Herschel from The Walking Dead was
Mhm.
the American ambassador.
Yeah, but
Oh, that's right,
I
yeah.
trust Herschel.
God, this movie is so freaking good. We're just sitting here watching the scene where Tom Cruise gets captured.
Yeah, see, okay, so there's the white tiger on the
Yeah.
flag. Ken Watanabe is dreaming of the white tiger
Mhm.
fighting, and that's why it all kind of works.
Yeah,
That's
it's
why-
like a
that-
premonition.
Yeah, that's why they don't kill him. That's why they keep him.
Yeah, it's so good, dude. And the armor for these samurai is so badass.
And like
Yeah,
the
it is.
guy that he kills is wearing
The same
his
armor he wears.
and then in the end of the movie, he
Yes.
puts on that
And
armor.
the wife of
that
the dead
wife
samurai
gave him.
gave it to him.
And she dresses him.
Oh,
The movie is so
Oh.
emotional. The movie's so
And
good.
that was kind of sexy too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
And the great thing about Tom Cruise's character, like he doesn't stop fighting ever.
Mm-mm.
And there's that great scene where he's going up against, a hero, and he just keeps knocking him down because he doesn't understand their method of sword fighting, and he just keeps getting back up. And no matter how many times they knock him down, like he just refuses. to
oh,
stay
dude, the
down.
scene where he stands no chance against this guy because he doesn't have any training yet, and he gets hit in the side of the head with the stick,
Ugh.
and it just resonates like thunk.
Yeah, and they're just like training swords. They're
Yeah.
like just wood.
Yeah,
And he's just beating the shit
Yeah.
out of them.
and he doesn't even beat the guy. He just fights to a draw, and everyone's like, "Whoa!"
yeah. This American learned how to fight.
Well, it's the Grand Master. If
Yeah.
you were the Grand Master of this army, and the one that trained everybody. And this white dude rolls in here, and after what, a couple months?
A couple months, yeah.
Yeah, he's on par. But
Yeah.
he was a great warrior from the beginning. Just
So-
didn't know how to handle himself in this kind of combat.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and I really liked how the final battle, the military tactics are actually sound.
Oh yeah.
Like it's not like a Game of Thrones type thing where it's just like, just put some horses in front and
Make it really dark so nobody can see how shitty it is.
It's like militarily, like everything they did made sense.
Yeah.
And it worked the way it was supposed to.
Like Braveheart's like the gold standard for that.
Yeah.
But this movie, I mean, arguably this is better. Because I mean, Braveheart was the dopest thing ever when we first saw it, right? it's brutal, it's amazing, similar story, and the with the battles and the love and the we're fighting for something bigger than ourselves.
Like it doesn't hold a candle to some of Kurosawa's stuff, but like just everything like. It was all practical, real horses, like 600 extras, like
love it.
Smoke.
That's
costumes,
dragons.
Back in the day, dude,
dragons.
Like, when movies actually did that, and it's not just CGI, it feels so much more visceral. I love it.
And any real movie fan, it's practical effects is where it's at.
Yeah.
And the final scene where Tom Cruise kills Ken Watanabe's character, and he finally understands what it means to, die with honor, and he helps him do that. It was, and they have that great line where it's like, how did things turn out at the Battle of Thermopylae? And he's like, they all died down to the last man. And Ken Watanabe's like, I like that. like he's embraced their fate, and he just knows that there's no coming out of this. And it was such a heart-wrenching moment when Tom Cruise kills him.
Sorry, he's always known that like that's how he wanted to go out, was in battle.
Well, that's the honorable way to do it. Yeah. There's a lot of similarities between the Spartans and the samurai. That culture of like death is or death by battle is the honorable way to go. All right, guys, that's it for our discussion of The Last Samurai. Up next, we're going to talk about Six String Samurai. And that's going to be fun. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. Hey, if you want to support the podcast, go to saltynerdstore.com and you can grab some of our merch there. We got all kinds of cool designs that Kadish has been working really hard on, making t-shirts and stickers and all kinds of cool stuff. You can help support the podcast and get some cool merch in return. All the money that we get goes right back into the podcast so we can make awesome content for you. All right, let's talk about Six String Samurai. Take it away, Jude.
1998, Six String Samurai with a runtime of 90 minutes. Had a budget of $2 million. What do you think it brought into the box, gentlemen?
Wow. Wait.
300,000.
There was a box office?
Did this even go to the theater?
I have a number.
I feel like this was in the $6 bin at Walmart. I'm going to say $200,000.
Close. $146,000.
Good.
Wow.
Good.
Off a $2 million budget.
Good.
Wait. Profit?
No.
Oh.
Yeah, I think this movie actually found its place on like home video.
Yeah, it's one of those.
This movie was in the corner of your video store
Yeah.
in the 90s that nobody ever watched. It was all dusty.
I watched it.
I remember the cover, like from because I recently watched the Blockbuster documentary, and a lot of nostalgia watching that.
Yeah.
All right, here's the synopsis. In a post-apocalyptic world where Russians have taken over a nuked USA and Elvis is king, Buddy, a 50s rocker / wandering warrior, and an orphan set out on the road trip from hell. Armed with his 6-string in one hand and his sword in the other, Buddy is on his way to Vegas to take his place as king. Along the way, they come across every kind of villain. Cannibals, death, singing assassins, prostitutes, and more.
Slash from Guns N' Roses.
Only teamwork can get them through a post-apocalyptic, obstacle-ridden desert to reach the golden city of Las Vegas.
I hate you both.
Discuss.
This movie was so bad.
This movie was awesome.
This movie was a lot of fun.
This is terrible.
It was so much fun.
It was so
There's
bad.
a bad guy
It's Matt's
for
idea.
everything.
Matt chose this movie.
I used to watch this movie a lot in film school.
It's not bad. It's fun.
Oh, it was
Yeah.
so much fun.
So much fun. The martial arts are half decent.
That is true.
The story is blah.
The
The music
soundtrack.
is incredible.
Music
Yeah.
is good.
The shoes.
The shoes.
The kid.
The
There's a
umbrella.
freaking kid in this, and all he does
here we go.
is yes. Yes.
Yeah, I forgot Alex hates
Here
kids.
we
in
go.
Oh
movies.
my god, dude. He's useless.
How many kids do you have?
He drove the getaway car.
These useless kids.
It's so bad.
Look, it's the Red Elvis is right here.
It's so bad, dude. I don't.
He fights a bowling team.
I was surprised.
They have bowling pin knives.
Wait, what was their name?
The Pin Pals or
Pin
something?
Pals.
Oh.
Pin Pals.
God, this is like something that feels like something that Kevin Smith made while he was high.
Yeah, I feel like it was a college movie or something, and it's not good.
They were only able to shoot it on the weekends because the child actor had school.
Just cut the kid out. He does nothing.
He made me want to get a raccoon hat.
Yeah.
What sound does he make in the entire movie?
It's very weird.
I mean, our kid used to sound like that.
I smack my kid when he does that.
I mean, you're crapping on this movie for all the same reasons that I enjoyed this movie.
Yes.
There was a few fight scenes that I thought were
they're all
surprisingly
very
good,
decent.
but there's a lot of it where it's just like the camera's really focused in on Buddy, and you don't see what he's fighting. He's just flailing around, and they smash cut to different people. They're just hiding terrible.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's awful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a low budget movie.
Yeah. It's a very low budget movie.
Yeah. See what you can do for $2 million.
A lot more than that. 2 million, Chew? That's a shit ton of money.
That is true. I feel like I could do better with $2 million.
I don't know. Like, it's a post-apocalyptic sci-fi movie. Like, they had to have sets and costumes.
They had to pay for protection probably because there's so many assassins.
Jeffrey Falcon, the guy who plays Buddy, like he did all of his own stunt work without wires or anything like that.
I do like him.
He did a lot
all
of
the
flips.
martial arts
Yeah.
was like, legit.
I really love it when he does
he's very decent.
a flying kick and then they cut and all you see is a foot push somebody. Like, great editing, guys.
Yeah.
Awesome. Really.
Look, I'm a big fan of trauma movies anyway. So, I mean, this
You
is
mean
right.
Trauma?
You're correct. Yeah, trauma. It's right up there with me with trauma movies. I love Toxic Avenger and I love those garbage movies because they're garbage.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's fun.
That's totally fair.
What's trauma?
Trauma?
It's a studio that made like really bad movies.
The movies that you would probably love.
Yeah.
Those old 80s.
Toxic Avenger,
Well,
Romeo and
I mean-
Juliet.
Romeo and Juliet, Attack of the Killer Tomatoes.
Mhm.
Love them, all of them.
Yeah.
We have the same taste in. A lot
Yeah,
of them.
I can see that.
yeah,
I can
yeah.
see that.
We both love the same movie.
I do like Buddy.
Far
He's a
away.
very fun character.
Oh, he's great. But, okay.
With the glasses.
Okay, we're bringing you back. We're bringing
Yeah.
you back. Yeah.
He is very fun. Few of the fight scenes are redeemable. I'm sure if I was in a better mood, I think the Russians were pretty funny. I kind of chuckled at that.
They were kind of funny.
They were kind of funny.
Yeah.
And the fact that he just like massacres the whole
Yeah,
village.
so the plot of this movie is that in the 1950s, I believe it was 1957, the Russians invade the United States after nuking
Yes.
the United States. And then 10 years later, the only sanctuary was in the wilds of Nevada called Lost Vegas. It used to be Las Vegas, but now it's Lost Vegas. And it was ruled by Elvis.
Mhm.
And then the king died, and now a new king must take his place. And so you have all these kind of wandering samurai rockers making their way to Vegas to try to take up the throne. And at that point, they're like killing each other in a battle royale to try to, like Highlander, there can be only one king.
It's a classic hero's journey.
Yeah. And as Buddy
very Joseph Campbell.
and as Buddy is making his way to Vegas, he comes across this orphan whose mother was just killed. And the orphan just starts following him around, and he eventually becomes his sidekick. But during all this time, they keep running into like just these like little vignettes of weirdness where like every time a new scene happens, they run into like a different type of bad
villain.
guy.
Yeah.
So like the first one is they go to this like kind of bar out in the middle of nowhere. It's like a gas station, and the Red Elvises are playing, and they're the ones who did the soundtrack for the whole movie. And they want to kill Buddy, but it's not quite the right time. And then the Pinheads show up, or the Pen Pals, and they're just this wandering bowling team. And they take on Buddy, and he takes all of them on. Then they go to the Cleaver's house, which is basically this weird cannibalistic family.
They're my favorite.
Yeah, and then the windmill people show up.
Oh God,
and
the
then-
windmill
and
people.
bring the wind with them.
Yeah.
And so like this movie is just like one scene after another of them just running into bizarre bad guys, and it's really creative.
And they're
I
being
just-
chased by death.
I
right?
can't stop
Yeah.
chuckling because Alex looks so angry the whole time we're talking
I'm
about
ju-
this.
That's because he realizes that he might be a little bit wrong on this one.
No.
It's a fun movie.
No.
It was a blast.
Look, man.
Remember Power Rangers?
There's
Remember Power Rangers? Come on, Alex.
I never watched Power Rangers. that much.
Whatever.
I watched it a few times and I was like, okay.
Like, this story doesn't have much continuity.
The actor, the actor who plays Buddy, is he a legit martial artist?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Sure.
I could tell. Like
Oh,
that
for
was
sure.
the one thing that I was like,
in fact, they were going to do like a trilogy of these with like him as like
I would watch another one.
the like
Oh, yeah.
centerpiece of it.
if
Can
this
you
would
imagine
have,
a Mad Max with this?
if this would have went the same route as like Robert Rodriguez's El Mariachi, you know, like
Yeah.
it starts out very low budget, but has some redeeming qualities. And then the next one, he actually gets a budget. I think I would have been into the sequel to this.
Danny Trejo could have been in this as well.
Exactly. I would have been into that. There are some redeeming qualities to this movie, but god damn it, that kid just takes me out of every single scene. Just
I love
the whole time.
the humor in this movie.
Slowest car chase
it's-
ever.
Yes.
The
Yes.
slowest and longest car chase
Crazy how
with
slow it is.
horrible editing.
Yeah.
But,
Oh.
but this movie's got such great humor to it that I just absolutely love. Like it's got one of my all-time favorite lines from any movie in the world, which is after Buddy, like he literally takes on the entire Russian army and kills all of them, and then Death shows up with his band of henchmen, and he looks around, and he's like,
Only one man can kill this many Russians.
I love that line.
Well,
But an even better line was when he was underground with the windmill god, and the windmill god's henchmen are like threatening him. And
If I were you, I'd run. If you were me, you'd be good looking. That's not nice. Get him.
What? The angels of darkness that are with Death, like their voices are so weird. It's like somebody just dubbed in something and they were like talking through a box fan the whole time. Very strange.
well, yeah, that was intentional.
Didn't know what that was all about.
It was him.
It was him. He was here.
I'm guessing
Like,
these are.
after Death dies, like they give
Oh.
the kid his cards. Like if you ever need a band, look us up.
Don't even get me started on how Death dies.
Well, see, the thing is that this movie was kind of loosely based around the Wizard of Oz.
I can see that.
With Las Vegas,
Yeah,
looking like
Las
the Emerald
Vegas.
City, and
Yeah.
Death basically like once he gets water on him,
It's
like,
the
he
Wicked Witch.
disappears,
Yeah.
Yeah. So like I can forgive. Like I understand why you wouldn't like it, but I can forgive that.
I'm so mad because like Death going through the movie, I'm like, okay, so this big showdown with Death is gonna be pretty badass. I mean, he looks like Slash from
it was
Guns N'
pretty
Roses.
it was
got the
pretty
top
badass.
hat with the freaking guitar,
Yeah.
and they have like a guitar off.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I was like, okay, so it's like the devil went down to Georgia and he played his violin and he had to fight the devil and he made a better song, so the devil had to give up. I was like, okay, this is gonna be cool. This is gonna be cool. This is gonna be cool. And then the kid spits on his hand. And then his hand starts smoking, and then the kid takes a canteen and squeezes it at him like a tit, and he just melts. And I'm like, okay, nope, 1-star crap fest.
Ooh.
I hated this movie so much.
There was a moment in this movie where basically Buddy gets like 5 arrows in the back protecting the kid,
Oh yeah.
and you think he's dead,
And he just gets up.
and then the kid gets the sword and starts running at the bad guys, and Death's band basically,
Mhm.
and Buddy just like stands up, and it's like such a fucking man.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the sword fight between Buddy and Death was really well done.
When he stands up, doesn't he have like a bunch of knives sticking out of him?
The
when he
arrows.
stands-
he's got arrows.
Yeah,
It's
oh,
very,
the
like-
arrows,
And you can see the harness that the
Oh
arrows
my
are
god,
like,
it's so
underneath his
bad. It's
clothes.
like a big pad he's just wearing, so
Yeah.
his back is like 3 times bigger
Yeah,
than it
but-
should
The
be.
reason this movie is so much fun is because of how ridiculous and absurd
I
it
get it.
is.
I get it.
Exactly.
I get it, Jude. I really do. I just couldn't get into it.
But as ridiculous as the movie is, like there are some genuine badass moments in it, and there are some genuine like emotional moments in it too. Like the relationship between the kid and Buddy as it progresses throughout the movie.
He keeps trying to give him away.
Yeah.
I was on board for that. I loved it when he gave it away to the Mexican midget guy.
How about when he
That was great.
the cholo midget.
Yes. I was like, oh, good. He's gone.
gives them to cannibals and they immediately put him in a pot?
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, good. Get rid of that stupid kid. Oh,
Have another baby, Alex.
yeah. I will agree with you, Kadish. That scene where he stands up, he's got the arrows in his back. It felt very much like a comic book. Like when Wolverine has the arrows in his back and he stands up, and I could see the splash page already.
So
you
the
know?
heroics.
Yeah, the black and white with the splashes of red.
Yeah.
It was a comic book page for me. And I did like that. I did. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. I disagree with Jude on like, I feel like they could have done more with the budget that they had because there was a lot of things that were very chinky looking.
When I heard 2 million
Yeah.
in the 90s.
Yeah, because you remember how much
I mean-
how much did Robert Rodriguez make El Mariachi for?
like
Oh.
$8,000.
$8,000, Jude.
Something like that.
$8,000. You imagine what he would have done with $2 million
Yeah.
given this movie.
Already had a wheelchair. So
Oh,
that's
sure.
not even in the budget. Probably stole it or borrowed it.
It was,
I'm
this,
just-
They have
it was this Nana's wheelchair.
guitars and cars and a child
Like,
with a raccoon hat.
On paper, I'm down for this movie. I love guitars and the 50s rock and roll and the samurai sword. Like, it sounds amazing. Just the delivery of it was just not up to what I was expecting.
This movie was actually a big influence on the video game Fallout New Vegas.
Nice.
In fact, there's even like an achievement called New Vegas Samurai in the game. And the place where you can like get the achievement, there's like a 6-string samurai poster in the background. So I thought it was kind of
I
interesting.
played that game to death. I'm trying to remember that. Huh.
Yeah, it says that the achievement is acquired when the player deals more than 10,000 points of damage with melee weapons.
Interesting. Okay.
No, we're going to say goodbye to Tom for a while. We'll be back in a couple months.
I've been playing Assassin's Creed. I'm like 140 hours. It is wasting my
Which
time.
one?
Valhalla.
Oh, the newest one? Okay.
Yeah, so I started reading about Norse mythology in the middle of it.
Nice.
Yeah, it's been okay.
The last one I dived into was Black Flag.
Yeah,
I played the shit out of that game.
Yeah, I'm playing this way too long.
Yeah.
Like it needed to stop like 100 hours ago.
All right, so Tom, give me your redeeming qualities for this movie. Why do you
Oh.
love it so much, and what's your favorite scene?
Oh well, I love. Okay, I'm gonna blame He-Man, but you put a sword in a movie, and I'm probably gonna see it. It's just who I am inside. I'm probably gonna see a sword movie.
I got
Now
you.
this is a Matt. Matt suggested this as the bad samurai movie.
Okay.
But I think it's really fun. I like the characters. It's the action is good for how crappy the movie is. The action is fun.
Yeah.
And I like the oddball villains. I like it like a broke ass Mad Max.
Mhm.
And if it went on for trilogies, I mean, I can imagine the first Mad Max sucked real bad. The second Mad Max also sucked real bad, but it was more fun.
Yeah.
And it also had a terrible child that made grunting noises. So, I mean, I get Mad Max vibes. I get samurai movie vibes. I get Akira Kurosawa vibes.
Mm.
It's a lot of fun. I like the guitar, the music. I'm a punk rocker from back in the day. So all that surf rock, I love it. Like,
Yeah.
I've never seen this movie before. I watched it with Matt the other day. And,
Yeah.
and Jude.
This is my
I
first
was
time.
there too.
Yeah, Jude was there. We had pizza and sake, and I liked it. I mean, it's not good. It's not a good movie. You're not going to be like, oh man.
So this is like a group activity for you then.
Yes.
All bad movies are group activities.
Okay.
It's a movie night movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Yes, yes.
It's not a movie you watch by yourself. You watch it with your two robot homies, and you talk shit the whole time.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because that's why it's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're like me and you love terrible movies, and you get introduced to this film, watch it with a friend, have some drinks, order a pizza. Do not take this seriously,
Yes.
as Alex has done.
Yes.
Like, this film does not stack up.
I tried.
Does he have a SAG card?
I've said it before. There's a lot of redeeming qualities
This
about
is
this movie.
obviously not a union film.
But I was just kind of like, oh my God, there's so much potential that
No,
would
it's
have been
fun.
way more fun if
the
they would
ending isn't very good, but neither is the beginning, and neither is the middle.
have.
It's not like there's a good moment. The dialogue sucks.
Oh, dialogue's awful.
It's all cheesy. It's
Yeah.
just cheese. But it's fun,
So
and I
much
had a great time. And
Okay.
watch it with friends.
okay.
I'm not gonna rate it though, because there's no rating for this movie. It's
Yeah. It's kind of hard.
yeah, it's just in the ether. It's like it's a movie.
Jude, how about you?
I agree with everything Tom said.
I figured.
You should definitely not watch this by yourself. You should not go into this thinking is this going to be a good movie? It's not. But it's so much fun. And this is it, like Tom and I, we have like movie nights all the time, and it's always terrible movies. And this is a perfect movie night movie. And so I had a great time watching it because I was with my man and my bud,
Mhm.
and we were drinking and eating pizza and talking shit the whole time. And that's exactly what this movie is made for. So as a samurai movie, no, but as a hilarious bad movie that has swords in it, 100%.
Like I said, movies that have
100%.
samurai in the title.
Yeah,
That's excellent.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
It's a
Yeah,
hoot.
man. Yeah.
It's a hoot and it's a blast and I loved it. And also it was a first watch for me.
Yeah, me
And
too.
I wasn't like, it was a Matt pick. So automatically I was very like, I don't know. And then we watched the trailer the three of us watched the trailer together. We were like, holy shit, we have to watch this movie. And so we all got together and we watched it together and we drank and we talked shit. And it was perfect. It was a perfect movie night.
Got like an Office Space vibe from that. Like, hey man, you ever seen Six String Samurai? No, man. Shit, no.
Shit, no.
Get your ass kicked for watching something like that.
You ever seen Six String Samurai
On
weed?
It keeps coming back.
I bet you it's amazing.
So I will give it a rating though.
Okay.
For a terrible movie, terribly like B movies. You know,
Yeah.
that's my thing.
Yeah.
So for that, it's a 4 out of 5 for me.
Yeah, it's a great B
It's
movie.
a 4 cannibals out of 5 cannibals for me.
There we go. Kadish, how about you, buddy?
So I've watched this movie by myself many times.
Oh, sweetheart, I love you so much.
Like, I hope you wrote an essay in college.
I did. I studied this movie in film school. You know.
Oh, honey, you did it
Hold on,
wrong,
hold on.
but you still came out okay.
Oh, can I read that paper? Post it in the comments.
I don't agree that this is a bad movie. I find this movie very enjoyable. I think that you know, structurally from a writing standpoint, it's very sound. It's very creative. It's got a lot of great ideas to it, and it's funny and it's fun and it's exactly what it set out to be. Like, this isn't some highfalutin, like, you know, Last Samurai type, you know, Oscar bait movie.
What kind of a grade did you get on this paper?
I don't even remember.
Did you fail?
I just know that, like, I've studied this movie. It was like 99 cents at my college, you know,
Did you
video
convince
store.
your professor that it was a good movie?
I don't think, like, the assignment wasn't to convince anyone that the movie was good.
Good's very subjective
Yeah.
anyway. What is good?
Fair.
Oh, we're gonna get to that in a minute.
Samurai Cop is good.
But like, there are just so many elements to this movie that I love. Like the whole battle scene at the end where he's fighting the entire Russian army.
Yes.
And so he starts charging up the hill with his sword at the Russian military, and they don't have any bullets. But for some reason, explosions are just happening,
Yes.
like spontaneously, like as like a real battle, and Russians are going flying, and then he has the face off with like the Russian henchmen, and he's doing the tiger claw. You know?
That scene where the guy's like, why aren't we shooting at him? Oh, we have not had bullets for years. He's just killing them all with a sword.
Yeah, and he's literally killing thousands of Russians as he's running through them, and that scene is just like hilarious to me. I love it. And but there's also like a cantina scene in this, like from Star Wars, where he goes into a cantina, and this cheerleader just does a somersault into frame and puts her gum on his glasses.
Oh my God, that was the
God.
sexiest thing I've ever seen.
And that's how she seduces him, is just by putting her gum on his glasses.
And then strings it out
Yeah.
and then eats it
Yeah.
It
towards
was so Lady in the Tramp.
Yeah, it was.
It was very romantic.
And then he goes back into her room, and she's like undressing him. He's just lying there, like so not into it.
He was so like dead
Yeah,
fuck.
just not moving.
He's like a limp fish.
And then the kid cock blocks him by going,
He saved his life.
Yeah. Basically, Death and his band come into the cantina, and if the kid hadn't called Buddy out of that, you know, cheerleader horror room, you know, he probably would have died.
So what do you give this for a rating, Cage?
I give this a solid like 3 samurai swords out of, or three strings out of 5. It's a very entertaining movie to me. It's a very solidly made movie, especially considering like it's low budget. It's science fiction, you know, and it's really
post-apocalyptic.
It's post-apocalyptic. It's funny. It's got all types of cool music and ideas and stuff like that in it. It's just a very fun movie, and I think that for people like me who like movies like Bad Taste, you know, like this is a fun watch. This is something that you could watch by yourself and actually enjoy it. I don't look at this as a bad movie night movie. I look at this as a fun movie that I would just watch on my own.
You're
And
one
then-
of a kind.
Yeah, and it's one of the reasons why I recommended it for this week, because like I've been wanting to do this for the podcast for a while, and it just seemed to fit with the theme that we had settled on. So I really enjoy this movie. I like it a lot.
Okay.
Oh, we didn't even talk about the windmill god.
Oh, that's nonsense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he pops up. He reminds me of like the robot from Flight of the Navigator, where it's just like the head that shows up.
He's got Pee Wee Herman's voice.
Yeah, he pretty much does.
Oh, goody, another sacrifice. Bow down before the a great and powerful windmill god.
Yeah, I mean, there are lots of great elements to this movie that I really enjoy and I think are a lot of fun.
I can appreciate that, and I can appreciate Jude and Tom's take on this. It's very much so
like they keep looking for a wrench.
Ratchet.
Oh, the ratchet. Yeah, the ratchet.
The ratchet fixes everything in the post-apocalypse.
Oh, remember when he was like, "Oh man, I wish I could trade this stupid kid in for a ratchet."
Not even a socket. No,
just a ratchet.
Just the ratchet. Like
he starts a car with it.
Yeah, he does. He's doing it right now.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Oh my god, it's ridiculous. Okay, I can appreciate you guys' take. I totally understand, and I think I would probably be on board with you if I had been over that night drinking sake and eating pizza and talking shit. Probably would have been a great fun time.
We made sake bombs. It was awesome.
That sounds like a blast. This is barely above a 1-star crap fest.
Oh, you son of a bitch.
1.5 stars. I give it credit for creativity. I do think the fight scenes are surprisingly good for the type of movie that it is. So I will give it a lot of credit for that. And the music, like you guys said, there's a lot of positives here.
But only a 1.
But only a 1.5.
Okay.
1.5 for me.
Okay,
It's not a movie that I'm ever going to watch again unless I'm drunk with sake eating pizza with you guys. I'm not watching it alone ever again.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend
This
that.
was terrible.
Sometimes we get drunk and watch movies and order Indian food.
This was one of those movies where I know it was only an hour and a half long, but it felt like it took me 3 or 4 hours to finish.
Oh, you're so wrong. You're so wrong.
I was watching it like, Jesus, when is this going to end?
You need more joy in your life, friend.
You're not wrong. But that's my take on it. I can appreciate your guys' opinion. I get it. I understand where you're coming from. Kadish, I have no idea where you're coming from.
You never do.
Well, no, Matt's right. It never intended to be anything more than it was.
Yeah, but for $2 million,
that's the bother.
Come on,
that does bother me. I figured 100,000.
Yeah.
When I heard 2 million, I feel like my life would be amazing with $2 million, and this might be what I did with it.
Like
knowing make the sequel starring myself,
knowing that there's a movie called El Mariachi that Robert Rodriguez made for like $8,000, and it's as good as it is. And then this movie had $2 million budget, and this is what they came up with. That kind of bugs me a little bit. I'm like,
okay, but that's why Robert Rodriguez is set apart from your typical independent movie makers.
There's a reason why the guy who directed this movie only went on to direct one of the Crow straight-to-video sequels. And that's it.
That's interesting.
Fire it up.
No, not even that one.
It was like one of the third or fourth one that went like right to video.
Angel of Darkness or something.
Jennifer Jason Lee. It's like, not Jennifer Jason Lee.
I think it was Angel of Darkness. Actually.
It's also kind of porn.
Yeah. We're going to get to that in the next movie that we're going to talk about. That's it for our discussion of Six String Samurai. It's on YouTube. If you guys are trying to look for a movie to go hang out with your friends with, go check that movie out. Before we move on to the next one, we're going to talk about Samurai Cop. We're going to take a quick break. Welcome back, everybody. Hey, if you want to support the podcast and get to chat with the host, you can join our Discord app. Down below, there's going to be a link to our Discord server. And there we hang out. We talk about movies. We have an exclusive chat for Patreons. We have spoiler talks for different shows like Invincible. And I'm going to set one up for The Nevers coming up here pretty soon because we're in episode 3 of that. So if you want to chat with us about the shows that we're watching or the podcast, or you have suggestions for movies that we should watch, go to our Discord app, hop in there, and hang out. All right, guys, for this movie, we're going to open a brand new bottle of sake because I can't talk about this movie sober. It's Samurai Cop.
You just don't understand fun.
Take it away, Jude.
Kampai.
Kampai.
Ching ching.
That's not bad.
Oh, that's really good.
All right.
Cool.
1991. Samurai Cop.
It's a magical year.
Unrated, with a runtime of 1 hour 36 minutes, had a budget of $384,756.
That sounds right.
It's extremely specific.
And
down to the penny.
The only number I got for the box was same. Which I don't think is true.
No. I don't think
said.
This didn't have a theatrical release. I think it went straight to DVD or VHS.
Yeah, probably. Or Betamax. 91.
Well,
91.
I think it ended up in like a security box, like a safe somewhere.
Yeah, they found the original.
And then after the director died, they found it and released it. Okay, so
No, what happened is they took it to the American film market to try to sell it, and I think it got sold for like a home video release and DVD or something like that. And the original print was stored in a film vault, and just kind of forgotten along with the rest of this director's stuff. And it was one of those like Pawn Star type things where the guy came in and just bought what was ever in the vault. And he found these movies, and now that he owns the rights to them, he's been releasing them on like Blu-ray and stuff like that. And so like that was kind of what happened.
So what's this movie all about, Jude?
all right. Joe Marshall is a samurai cop. A detective who slays the bad guys and the ladies equally.
Hold on, the boss is coming.
The boss is coming. Sorry, there's this one chick, and that's her only line. She says it a lot throughout the movie. Anyway, okay. He slays the bad guys and the ladies equally. He defends the innocent people of Los Angeles with his gun, his fists, and his sword. Whether clad in a thong, a wig, or nothing at all, he's always ready for a fight or an afternoon delight. With his partner Frank, they take on the Katana gang in a bloody battle to put an end to their reign of terror.
You wrote
With,
that?
with Frank's black gift.
Jude's synopsises are like people's favorite part of the podcast.
That was something right there.
When she
Why are
you
you
really,
standing?
you really framed that.
Okay, I feel like I captured it.
Yeah, you really framed that.
Okay, so here's my story with this movie because I've seen it before. So a while ago,
I'm sorry.
I know, a while ago there were some people on Twitter that I had kind of a spat with about. There's an argument going around that movies are always subjective. There is, because it's an art form and art is
Yeah.
subjective.
Yes, correct.
All movies are subjective. There is no such thing as a bad movie because
good, no
any
bad.
movie
Yep.
can be subjectively good. I completely disagree with that. And I think it's nothing but a bunch of nonsense and way of getting out of criticizing bad movies. I use this as an example of an objectively bad movie. Now, I'm okay if you like it. I am okay if you like
Oh,
a
he's
bad
allowed
movie.
to like it?
No, I'm just saying.
Wow.
Oh, shut up, Jude. I'm okay if people like bad movies. It's cool, but you can't tell me that it's objectively good. There's nothing good about this movie. There's no good acting. There's no good action scenes. There's no good editing. There's nothing redeeming about this movie other than it's so bad that people find it ironically good.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah. We agreed with you on every single thing you just said.
cool.
So what's
Great.
the problem?
There is no problem.
Okay, all right, good. Same
This
page.
is an awful movie,
5-star.
and I hate the existence of it.
There's nothing bad. Every scene is a nightmare.
Yeah.
Every scene is an embarrassment. Every scene is a different hairstyle. The main guy even says in interviews afterwards, he doesn't know how to do karate. He doesn't know how to use weapons.
Yeah.
He knows nothing. He was just a pretty guy. And they were like, pretty boy, you go make movie.
Yeah.
And they hammer you with nonsense
Yep.
and terrible editing.
Yep.
Oh, it's so good because they thought they were making a good movie. It's amazing.
Well, I don't think so because in the interviews,
like Sharknado sucks, and it was always supposed to suck.
yeah,
This psychopath that made this movie
thought it was good.
thought he was making a good movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's amazing.
Yeah. And I forget the samurai cop's name. I think it's Mark Hannon.
Yeah,
Okay.
something.
Um,
Hannon. Hannon is his last name. I can't remember what his first name is.
he's even said in interviews that he went into audition, and I don't even think he had to do anything. The guy was just like, "Oh yeah, you look exactly what I'm looking for."
He had the long hair.
Yeah, he just was pretty, like
Yeah.
Tom said, and that's what they based this entire character on with his hair.
Bingo.
And then he thought.
So, like,
he
4
thought
months-
we were done
No,
filming.
it was 7 months.
7 months
Oh,
after
yeah.
the movie was done, he stopped filming. 7 months later, the director calls him back up to do pickups, and he had already cut his hair.
Yeah.
And the director was pissed.
He was like, "You've ruined my
You
movie with this haircut a fucking year later." And they bought him a wig, and he had to go and reshoot half the fucking movie
Oh, yeah.
in this very not like his hair.
Yeah.
It's just like a lady's wig.
It's like
Yeah.
Aunt Sarah's wig.
It's like this
Yeah.
through most. It's just like
Yeah, Hannon thought it was just going to be like short pickups like from like far away, and it's like half the movie had to be.
oh,
reshot.
it's half the
Well,
movie.
He even talked about in the interviews, he was like, he hated being on set with
Oh,
this
yeah.
movie.
Oh, he
He's
hated
like,
it.
I thought every single line was ridiculously dumb,
He-
and that he's probably why he checked out. If you watch the acting,
Yeah.
he's not acting. He's
Oh,
just like,
he's dead-eyed.
I just
through
gotta
most of this.
read these stupid
It was
lines.
funny because he said that he intentionally like did bad takes because he was like, Amir is not going to use these, and he ended up using every single one.
Yeah.
And with this movie, so like they didn't do like second takes.
Yes, they
right?
did one take.
Like everything was like in one take, and then they move on
Crazy.
because film is expensive.
Uh-huh.
And in fact, they didn't do any night shoots because
They couldn't
it was
afford lighting.
too expensive to light for a night
Oh,
scene.
so
Which is
good.
why the entire movie takes place during the day.
So good.
Yeah.
There's nothing I don't love. I find out new. I've seen this movie 100 times, and I force it on people constantly because it is so unredeeming.
It's
in
up there
every
with
single way.
The Room, I think.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Oh,
just
for
like
sure.
that.
For sure. There's
sure.
another one that I use as an example of an objectively bad movie is Hard Ticket to Hawaii. Have you ever seen that?
No.
Oh, I think we've seen a Best of the Worst on.
Yeah, we
with
have.
that.
Tom.
Yeah.
Oh,
Tom, you need to watch
I'm
that
ready.
movie.
I'm
I
ready.
think they have like a gunfight with a snake or something.
There
if
is a
I'm not
razor
wrong.
frisbee that they use to cut people's heads off.
I saw Mortal Kombat. It made sense.
It's amazing. You got to watch that movie.
Oh, but you like that?
It's awful.
That's
No,
the
but
point.
I'm using it as an example of an objectively bad movie.
Yes, this is objectively
Yes.
that.
So is Hard Ticket to Hawaii.
Yes.
Yeah.
But Amir Chevron, the guy who wrote and directed this movie, so he was an Iranian filmmaker, and he wanted to make a buddy cop movie in the vein of Lethal Weapon, which was, this movie. And ninjas and samurai and stuff like that were kind of like a hot, niche at the time.
Well, yes, like American Ninja and all that was like
Yeah.
right around the same time.
He was trying to work the algorithm.
Mhm.
And
Also had no understanding of English.
Yeah.
yeah, and he actually did most of the ADR. So like he shot this
Yes.
wild because he couldn't afford a sound guy, and so like most of the dialogue is overdubbed in post. And when he couldn't get the actors to come in and do their own voiceover, he did the voiceover himself. So like his voice appears in this movie numerous times. But he died in 2006, long before this movie like blew up as a cult status movie. So he never got to see the culmination of his life's work,
Aw.
unfortunately. But
Tragedy.
what happened was when this movie came out on DVD, someone somewhere ripped off the horny nurse scene where it's Samurai Cop talking to the horny nurse
Uh-huh.
and put it on YouTube. And it blew up on YouTube. And so everyone's like, what is this movie from? What is this scene from? And so like they tracked down the movie, and that's how this movie kind of like got into its cult status. And if you watch that scene with the nurse, it's kind of funny because like
It's hilarious.
Oh my God.
yeah, they're supposed to be in like a burn ward, but there's like a dentist office right next door. And then
Because it was filmed in an actual
Yeah,
dentist
yeah.
office.
it was filmed in an actual like hospital where like the
I think
dentist
Amir was getting a cleaning in the
And you can see like there's multiple takes where they use the same hallway and there's supposed to be people chasing each other, but it's just a shot of the same hallway.
Yeah.
It's so bad. And that line of dialogue with the nurse, dude. Oh
bingo.
my God.
Bingo.
I've had this exact conversation with Kadish before. This is why we started dating. He was like, "Oh, do you want to fuck?" And I was like, "Bingo."
Bingo. This movie.
she's not joking.
Oh my God. The dialogue is so bad.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
so
Oh,
ridiculous.
and I like how he just keeps telling different girls to keep it warm for him.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Every time there's a woman on
like
scene.
he's fucking Riddick. You know?
Oh my gosh, dude.
Yeah.
Like when the chick's in the helicopter and he goes on the walkie-talkie, he's like, "Keep it warm for me." It's
And she's like,
It's warm and ready.
and he just winks at no one.
yeah.
Yes.
There's
That's
this-
the best.
Where's his buddy? He looks at the camera, like the angry cop guy,
The chief?
Yes,
the chief?
The chief.
Oh, none of that makes any
Get
sense.
those motherfuckers out of here!
And he
And he
just keeps
he
pointing
just points
for a while.
I guess they said.
He thought that they would yell cut, and they never did.
So he
just
sits down and
there.
and then he starts laughing, and then he stops himself from laughing and he closes his eyes, and it just hangs on the scene.
It goes on for so awkwardly long.
And it's funny that like there's a scene where basically
Oh.
Samurai Cop is having a fight with the what's his name, the Asian henchman guy,
The guy-
Akamura. So it's played by Gerald Akamura, and they just called his character Akamura, and he's the guy who actually choreographed a lot of the fight scenes for this movie. And this was one of the pickups where basically Hannon had his wig, and Akamori like yanks him up, and the wig comes off in the shot. You see it.
They use it.
They use it. Yeah. And you know, when Hannon was being interviewed by the Red Letter Media guys, he was like, "Yeah, I don't know why he didn't cut it just a split second sooner." The editing.
That interview was amazing. By the way. It really is. Yeah, if you want to take a minute, watch that interview. It is crazy.
I would almost say watch the interview first.
Oh no.
I think it's funny.
No, I think it kind of.
You watch the interview first, and you're like, "What are they? This is crazy. This is actually what happens in the movie." And then you go watch the movie, and it's just like, "Oh my god."
Yeah, I think I watched the Red Letter Media coverage of Samurai Cop first, which made me want to watch Samurai Cop. And then I think the first time I watched it was with you, Tom.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Yeah, what's funny is Robert Zadar is in this movie, and he's known as the face.
It's a lot of head.
Boss.
Yeah, there's a lot of head on that guy.
The guy with the big chin.
The boss is coming.
Yeah. So Robert Zadar of Tango and Cash fame, because he was
he was one of the prisoners, right?
He was one of the prisoners.
Yeah.
So he's like the main bad guy's henchman in this movie, and he's the guy that Samurai Cop kind of faces off with at the end. But there's a scene in here where the boss lady, the woman with the line, I believe her name is Cameron, like that. So she has a sex scene with Robert Zadar in this movie.
Yes, she does.
And we get like full frontal, like all clothes off.
The most fun that she was having during that scene was before she got on the bed.
Well, what was funny is that like she was like not into Robert Zadar at all. And so
shocker.
The director, Amir, had her drink a whole bottle of wine before the scene.
Oh no!
So she would be loose enough to make out with the guy while completely naked.
All loosey goosey.
Yeah.
This movie gets better the longer.
Bottle of wine.
Oh, that's not good.
Okay, but in comparison,
like you can see, so like her like kissing his beard. He's got like this beard on his huge chin. It's like
all the sex scenes,
little rat ponytail.
All the sex scenes in this movie were grotesque.
It's gratuitous.
Yeah,
yes.
gratuitous.
Yes,
yeah.
there's a lot of nudity.
It's just like, and they hang on it.
Oh yeah,
it was just an excuse.
Happy
how many times
to you.
How many times do you think you watched that in editing bay? Just kept rewinding it. Oh, I gotta get this scene right.
Yeah.
Just editing with one hand and jerking it with the other.
That would actually explain a lot of the edits.
They're a little choppy.
Okay, so right now the guy's on fire. The henchman's on fire.
Yeah.
This is really them putting him out.
Yeah.
It's not a stunt crew. It's really the two actors
and
putting out that poor guy.
And I guess he said when he put the blanket over him and they lifted the blanket up after they cut, he was still on fire. It didn't go out all the way. It was ridiculous. Dude, there's so much shady shit going on behind the scenes of this movie.
So this was like $300,000, right?
Yeah.
Six String Samurai was
$2 million.
What the hell did they spend that money on?
I don't know.
Catering?
Oh God. I don't know what else. I mean, this movie is now famous.
Everyone's got a mullet.
Like Kadish said, it's right up there with like The Room.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it is. Oh, very much.
Yeah, it's like a cult movie, definitely for sure.
Tommy
Wiseau.
Tommy Wiseau is in Samurai Cop 2.
Yes, he's in a sequel,
which I've never seen.
There's a sequel.
Yeah,
not a real one. It's like they made it like a year ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
It just came out.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. After this got popular, because it's so culty.
Yeah.
Like it's like the ultimate version. This is a cult classic for a reason. Like it's very niche. It's very niche.
So like, do you guys remember his partner Frank Washington, the black guy?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean,
no, you did.
There's a scene where two guys break into his house as he's taking a shower, and they threaten to cut off his black.
Oh,
gift.
that's right. Yeah.
Gift.
Yeah, we're gonna cut off your black. He pauses and he goes, gift. It's like so bad.
And it was like they wanted to be like, oh, good for you.
Yeah, exactly. They were like, damn, that's impressive.
Like, bro, come over here, but feel the weight of this thing.
Shake hands with it.
Alabama black snake.
It's like 3 pounds.
And he's supposed to be naked, but you can clearly see his shorts in like almost every shot.
Well, that whole cut doesn't make any sense because they're hunting down cops and they're showing they have guns and they have grenades and
And they're pouring grease on that poor girl's vagina.
yeah, but all over her vagina. And
Yeah.
why she had so much grease, we'll never know.
Yeah, what was she cooking?
I don't know.
She just got done making bacon or something.
and
Making
she had just
bacon?
put it in the freezer
Sure.
too. You know,
It's just ridiculous
Yeah,
nonsense.
no, everything
And the
about
way,
this movie is
the way
amazing.
that they interrogate, they're like, "What's the address?"
Yeah.
Like, it's a.
One of the most
Do you
awkward
have a
scenes
pen?
has got to be the one where they talk to the waiter at the restaurant.
Oh, the waiter!
Oh my god!
Yes.
Wait, he tried to kill himself? Yes, he's himself.
Oh,
You mean
yes,
he ki-
himself.
You mean he tried to commit suicide? He just
Well,
giggles a lot.
in the sequel, in the sequel, they talk about how that guy was secretly a gun runner.
Oh my god!
Oh my god.
This,
The restaurant makes no sense.
No.
The yarn
Well,
lion makes no
I
sense.
was
God,
just
the
going to
yarn
mention the
lion.
yarn
The
lion.
yarn lion.
Let's talk
It's-
about the yarn line for
I
a
mean,
minute.
I think the yarn lion is credited. Like in the
well, it
He's the real star of the movie.
He's got third billing.
he's on the poster. It's a lion.
if you look at like the scene where the chick is talking to Samurai Cop, the lion is center frame.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
Mufasa.
Yeah, the lion is center frame. She's on the side, like lower. Like they don't care about the chick who's talking. They focus in on the lion.
Oh my god, it's so
And
funny.
then I was watching a couple of behind the scenes stuff because I wanted to get some more knowledge because I don't know what to say when I talk about this movie. It's just so bad. I just like whatever. It is what it is. Everybody knows now. Everybody knows it exists. So there's not much I can add to the conversation. But I was like watching some behind the scenes stuff, and they were talking about like basic cinematography, and you can see when they say center the frame, they have the actor's head literally in center frame, and there's like a ton of there's like a ton of headspace all over the place, but that's not how cinematography works. You're supposed to have them.
And the color timing was all off, like
Oh,
from
yeah.
shot to shot.
You see the boom mic more than once.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Shadows. You see
Just-
shadows all the time.
Just
Oh, yeah.
failure after failure of how not to make a movie.
And I like how the crime boss is living in grandma's house. Like it's got like it's decorated like like a grandmother's house with a porcelain dog and like knitted tablecloths.
Anyway, all right, let's do final thoughts.
Are you sure already?
Yeah,
It's been a half
so
an
much to
hour.
talk about.
I mean, I can keep going. I mean,
I know.
we haven't really even gotten into the meat of this movie yet.
What's the meat? Is there meat?
Yes, the guy who's the samurai has no martial arts training, experience, and never at any point does karate.
No.
When he gets a sword, it is the most unbelievable thing you've ever
He
seen.
just swings it around
Yes, like
like a kid in the backyard playing with a lightsaber.
yes. I think
Yeah.
that I was more poetic as a 6-year-old about lightsaber.
I think they said that they only rehearsed the fights like 15 minutes before they
I
shot
can
them.
completely believe.
Yeah, yeah, I completely.
That-
buy it.
like the guy with the bat
Oh god,
in the dance club.
so amazing. It's the most awkward action ever filmed. There's hand grenades and machine guns all over the place. This movie is incredible. It's a nightmare. It's completely redeemable in every way because it's so utterly ridiculous.
Have you ever
Yes.
seen Creepazoids?
Yeah.
Okay. Which one is the better movie? Creepazoids or Samurai Cop?
Well, okay, you're talking to a purist here. Samurai Cop does. I mean, it's in my top like 10 like favorite movies. It is really something else.
Creepazoids is a hard watch, but it's a fun talk.
Yeah.
This I've seen more than once, and it just gets better every
just gets
time.
better every time.
It's funnier every time, and it's something that like you want to share with
Yep.
people. You want other people to watch it so that you can talk about it.
Hmm.
It's not the same thing for Creepazoids.
Okay.
Creepazoids is very much a niche.
I disagree. I believe it's up there with this.
You think it's that good?
We've talked about you correcting
That good?
several times.
He just says he disagreed.
I
He's not
wouldn't
correcting
say
me.
Been
it's
a
that
minute since
good
I've
because
stabbed
this
you.
isn't that good either.
Oh,
But it's fun.
They put the biggest dude in a laundry hamper.
he's got a katana, which is a Japanese sword.
Which is
Uh-huh.
Well,
And
we're
he's
talking about
gonna saw the guy's head off with it.
Robert Zadar sneaks into the burn unit to kill one of the informants that the police have captured.
And they keep filming him as he's trying to wrestle his way out
But-
of this laundry hamper.
Yeah, so like he sneaks in hidden in a laundry hamper, right? But he's wearing a
God.
doctor's coat.
Uh-huh.
So like he could have just snuck in as a doctor
Yes.
What is he
instead.
doing?
Sawing the head off very gently.
Yeah, so he comes out of the laundry hamper with a samurai sword
She's getting horny
She's
about it.
so into it.
Oh, they're gonna bang right after this. Yeah.
after a bottle of wine.
Oh,
After a bottle of wine.
We've all been
A
there.
whole bottle.
It just hands her a bloody sword.
And I love how all of the editing is just like close-ups of people's faces reacting to things.
Oh, the
Yeah.
editing.
And most of those close-ups were shot in Amir's office months after the movie wrapped.
Yes.
Yeah.
filming.
Yeah. You can
Yes.
see there's a doorway behind everybody.
right.
Doesn't matter where they are.
It's that same door
It's the
frame.
same door frame.
They don't even know what they're reacting to. I mean,
Yeah.
it was just like, be surprised,
Oh, and then
be horny.
when he when he told the one dude, the sidekick guy, what's his name? Washington?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, he would tell Washington like laugh at the end of this scene. And he does that like, we'll see you in court. Ha 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 ha. And he just walks away.
He's the funniest guy
So out of
in this whole
context.
movie.
What about that thing where he goes under the fence and he's like,
I'm an undercover cop.
and that was ad lib.
I know. He's funny.
Hey, when you cut this together later, can we all just make faces into the camera so that you can just cut our reactions to things?
All right,
It's like-
Tom, go.
Yeah.
Jude, go. Alex.
We need those cuts throughout the entire conversation. just cut to that.
All right, now do horny.
It's the same face. Angry, happy, horny. It's all the same. It's the you're gonna get it. Look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they only had like a certain number of guns, which is why like they could only like a lot of the fight scenes, like gun shootout scenes, don't make any sense because they had to shoot them so far out of sequence. It's just weird. And Robert Zadar shows up at the end in a Suzuki Samurai,
Oh God, what a moment. Just
and I don't think that was planned. I don't think anyone put that much thought into it. like the rental boat at the beginning.
oh, what a great part.
Where
Yeah.
they're doing the drug
It
run.
has the phone number on the side.
and like the helicopter, you can tell it's just on the tarmac and someone's just
Oh, yeah.
jostling the
Yeah.
helicopter.
Yeah, it never moved.
Yeah.
Yeah, it never moved. So the best part about this movie is talking about this movie.
Yeah,
Yes.
100%.
Yeah, it's not good.
I think one of my favorite moments from us watching it was there's a scene where they're getting ready to like do a raid on a house, and the female helicopter pilot's there with her partner, and she's flirting with Samurai Cop, and her partner's just like out of it, and Jude made a comment about like she'll throw out lines of dialogue for the characters. And Jude was like, "Want to fuck?" to her partner who doesn't want anything to do with her. And then the character literally looks at her partner and is like,
You and I got nothing to do. Let's fuck.
Shut up.
like Jude totally called it.
I totally forgot that happened.
And she was like, "Oh my God, that never happens." I thought that was very funny. And the partner's just like, "No."
Yeah. He's like, no,
Ugh, why would you?
you're gross. I want to fuck Samurai Cop.
Yeah, and it's funny because like she did fuck Samurai Cop, and Samurai Cop keeps talking about all the other bitches he's fucking.
In front
in
of
front of her.
Yeah. He's like, oh, she's the hottest. He says she's the hottest woman I've ever seen. She's like, hey. And he's like, no, I stand by what I said.
And like there's this weird shrine in the shot where like there's like this plant with a picture of some guy, and it's just there, and I'm just like, what is that shrine for? And they never explain.
Well, that is like it was some random dude's house that they filmed in, and that was kind of the point. Like all the plaques on the wall had nothing to do with the scene.
No, that was the cop preacher's house where they kill his wife.
Oh, that's
and
right.
stuff.
It's probably the same house.
Yeah, it probably
It's
was.
probably the same
I was talking about the police department, and it's kind of funny because like the police leave the police department, and the next scene like they're in the hospital, and you're like, is the hospital in the police station? Like,
Yeah.
what's going on
Sure.
here?
Yeah,
It's just one building, but level by level it changes.
vertical
It's like,
integration.
This is the criminal justice level. This is the health and human services level. Human resources is all the way at the
And
top.
I like the backstory of the Samurai Cop, where basically like he studied in Japan. He knows all these languages. He's a master martial artist. He spent like years in San Diego in the Yakuza crime squad, and they brought him up to LA specifically to deal with this bad guy. And after 2 weeks, he hasn't gotten results. So he's going to kick him back to San Diego, if he doesn't like start, doing his
Be
thing.
slumming it up back in San Diego.
Yeah. Oh, no, please don't send me from downtown LA to San Diego.
Right?
All right, my
I'll
final
seppuku
thoughts.
myself.
I'm gonna do final thoughts on this movie for myself. If anybody's out there,
Why are you just gonna leave?
yeah,
I'm fucking out of
I'm
here.
out of here. I'm done. Tom's never allowed to pick another movie again. If there's anybody out there that's a fan of film and they want to make their own film, this is your base bottom line. If you can do better than this movie, go. Just go make your movie, because it can't be that bad. And if it is, it'll probably be a cult classic in like 30 years. So do it anyway. I encourage
Stay
everybody.
alive. Wait for it to happen.
Yeah, I encourage everybody to go out there with their friends and go make a fan film, because it's probably going to be better than this movie.
Tommy Wiseau's still making money.
I'm telling you.
Off that garbage movie he made 30 years ago. He's still making, he's probably richer now than he ever was.
Do
I
it.
mean, according to the legend, he didn't need any more money. He's
Oh,
a
God.
rich motherfucker. No one knows where it came from.
God, that guy's a miracle worker.
So that's my final thoughts for this movie.
What
Go
did
and
you
make your
rate
own.
it?
Oh, it's a 1-star crowd fest. This is awful.
Ooh.
This is terrible.
Oh.
It's an objectively bad movie.
I want to flip this table right now. I'm so angry at you.
It's so dumb.
You just don't appreciate good things.
It's not good. I can appreciate bad things. I can appreciate it on that level. It's so bad that it's funny.
I've got a good analogy for you. This movie is a McDonald's cheeseburger.
Ugh.
It's disgusting and terrible, but I love it.
It's Kraft mac and cheese.
Yeah, it's Kraft mac and cheese. It's gross and terrible, but my God, I'm going
You're
to do it
gonna
again.
eat the whole pan of it.
Yeah,
Just
it's
still
American
in the pan.
American
By
singles.
yourself.
American singles. Unwrap it and eat it right out of the plastic. It's gross.
Maybe that's what they were pouring on her vagina.
Oh,
There is no force stronger in the world than cheese that had once been melted.
That's why she put it in the freezer.
They
Try to get
should
it solid
make
up.
buildings out of it. Have you ever tried to clean cheese, formerly melted cheese off of something? Fuck me.
Tom, what's your final thoughts for this movie?
watch this movie. Prove Alex wrong. It is garbage, but get a case of beer, order some pizza, get with your friends, and just have a fun time. I mean, look, all the Friday the 13th suck, but we've seen all of them.
Right.
All the Nightmare on Elm Street suck. We've seen all of them 100 times.
Amen.
This is on par with the worst of the Nightmare on Elm Street movies. Watch it. Have fun with it.
Yeah.
Don't take it too seriously. Don't be an Alex.
I'm not taking it
You
seriously.
took it too seriously. Trust me. This movie is god awful in all the best ways.
Jude, let me guess, you agree 100% with Tom.
Well, yeah.
Tom's like really smart.
That's why we're best friends.
Are you missing Vader right now?
I
Alex?
kinda
Comment.
I'm holding true for you, buddy.
Oh my god! Can
we
Matt
love
call
all
in?
the same things.
Have Matt call in. We need
I
this.
know, right?
He actually texted me. He said he might stop by.
Ooh.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, 100%. And where this is, as far as like what kind of movie it is not a samurai movie. It is an awesomely bad movie, and it is a 5 motherfucking samurais out of 5.
Yes.
It is amazing. I will watch it again and again and again, and I will love it as much more the next time.
Yep.
Kurosawa just rolled over in his grave.
It's not a samurai movie. It's an awesomely bad movie.
It's a movie
It's
with-
a ridiculously fun little romp.
It's got samurai in the title.
Samurai in the title. That's
yeah,
it.
that
It's
one
got-
thing has nothing to do with the other.
Nudity, violence, explosions, celebrities,
Car chases.
helicopters,
Sex.
sex.
We said nudity, but yeah.
Uh-huh.
It's got a guy getting his arm chopped off.
Guys getting arms chopped off.
Dismemberment.
Yeah. I mean,
Beheadings.
Black gifts.
Black gifts. So many Speedos. Cake.
cake. Yeah.
Lanyards.
He killed a
playfully-
chicken
Yeah, he
and fried
playfully,
it. Yeah.
he playfully jokes that he jumped over the fence, killed his neighbor's chicken, chopped it up, and made her dinner. Which was an ad-libbed line.
and it worked to seduce her.
That's how you win a woman.
Yeah, every woman wants you to kill your own chicken and fry it up for her.
Amen.
How about you, Kadish?
Oh, this is a 1-star crap fest. This movie's awful. But
Matt defended this movie the entire time. Like, oh, it was terrible. It's god awful. I wish I could pull my eyes out.
Damn you.
Well, it's still a fun movie, but it's a terrible movie.
Yeah.
You know, so like some of the best bad movies out there are ones that take themselves very genuinely, they're earnest in their badness, which is why they're endearing. And this movie was trying to be good.
Oh, yes.
And it failed at every level.
Which is what made it.
Which is what makes it
awesome.
Awesome, exactly. But it's still a bad movie.
Yeah.
So like just as a movie, 1-star crap fest.
You go,
as an experience,
yeah.
as an experience, I'd give this more of like a 3 lion's heads out of 5.
It's like a ride at Universal.
Yeah. Three black gifts out of 5.
That was the sound of Kadish's black gift.
Exactly.
They call him the hammer. Call him the hammer for a reason.
Alex is broken.
Why do they call you the hammer?
You know, I once had a high regard for my own podcast. I said, we're going to talk about movies.
Cinema.
We're going to
Deep dive.
We're going to do deep dives and talk about the genius behind cinematic.
This isn't a movie. This is a film.
Okay. All right, guys. Yeah, that's our final thoughts for Samurai Cop. Everybody just go watch it. I mean, you might as well at this point. If you haven't seen it, make sure you're with people, though, and you have some alcohol. Sake is preferable. Okay, so that's it for our conversation today. Thanks for joining us. As always, if you'd like to support the podcast, go to saltynerdclub.com, and you can join our Patreon team and get exclusive access to some cool stuff. Let's get out of here real quick. Tom, where can they find you on the socials?
You can, if you look real hard, Instagram, Big T2681. I'm somewhere in there.
All right, on. Jude?
Hi.
Hi.
Hi. I don't know what I was doing. I was so not paying attention.
Domo arigato.
You can find me at IamJuju on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. I'm sorry. I'm wearing.
She's like, 5 stars. Wait, what are we talking about? What are we talking about?
Matthew Kadish.
You can find me at Matthew Kadish, Kadish on Twitter, and kadishbooks.com. Takes you to my Amazon page.
And I am the Salty Nerd. You can catch me on Twitter at salty_nerd. And as always, stay salty, my friends.